Hey Leo, this is Michael with your reading for March 2022. I do hope that this finds you well and in good spirits. It seems like there has been quite a bit of a journey, and it seems like you are going to be stepping out of your comfort zone this month. So that's pretty interesting and makes a lot of sense with the astrology. I know with Pisces season, we are very much in your eighth house, the house of mysteries, the unknown, the occult. Also things like debts and taxes and all that fun stuff. It's basically all the stuff we don't like to talk about. So before we dive into all of that, I just want to thank all of you who have supported this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It helps me continue putting out this content, and I appreciate all of you who support this channel. I am now also unveiling my Patreon for those of you who want to continue to support my content. That is a great way to do so, and you actually get some benefits out of it as well. You'll get access to all of my astrology notes for each of these videos every month. You will also get access to exclusive live streams and weekly updates. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, definitely check out my Patreon. All of my links are in the description box down below. You can also find links for personal readings and Reiki sessions with me there as well. So anyway, Leo, the first cards that I pulled for you here, I think I'm going to be clarifying some of this energy in a moment, was this Eight of Cups. This was the very first card that I pulled for you. And this is the card that felt like, oh yeah, they're on a journey. The group I'm connecting with. And I think this journey is going to look different for all of you. Maybe it's been a spiritual journey. Maybe it's been a journey of self-discovery. Maybe it's been a journey of exploring really anything that feels connected to your purpose or who you really are. And I still feel like with the Two of Pentacles here, there's been kind of this balancing act. There's this juggling act that you are still getting into a rhythm with. And things have been very much in flux. I'm wondering for some of you if there's even something with like housing security. I'm wondering if some of you are housing insecure. I could potentially see that energy with these cards here, actually. For others of you, this is just feeling kind of unstable. I get the sense that money might actually be a problem or a focus for some of you. And that actually makes sense because, again, the eighth house represents debts and taxes and investments, kind of money we don't actually have. It is one way of thinking about it. I know a lot of people talk about the eighth house being the house of other people's money, like joint bank accounts and investments, but I think of it more like money that isn't actually in our bank. So that does involve things like debts, but it's just kind of reframing this energy. And I'm wondering if there is something about like maybe loans, maybe things you're trying to pay off this month. That could potentially be part of this. I'm wondering if there is a change in employment or something that is shifting. This actually makes a lot of sense because I know right on March 1st, we have the sun, your ruling planet, your ruling luminary, I guess we can call it, is in Pisces, and that is forming a perfect sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which is your eighth house. I'm sorry, that is not your eighth house. Pisces is your eighth house. Taurus is, let me do some quick math here. That's your 10th house, your career. So that's why things might be changing in your work environment or your workflow. There could be some negotiations happening with your contracts, or maybe you're doing something completely different or something new. There could be new responsibilities, and maybe that's the thing you're adjusting to. Regardless of what these adjustments are, Leo, I'm feeling like you are out of your comfort zone, or it's important for you to step out of your comfort zone this month with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. I get the sense there are things you are holding on to as well. This could be things like relationships. This could be things like beliefs, anything that you have clung on to. I kind of get the sense that you might need to let that go. There's going to be more of that in just a moment. We'll get there. But I think it's really important for you to let things flow. And if your intuition is guiding you somewhere, you could be feeling really connected intuitively this month as well. That's kind of true for the collective, but especially for you, because we have a lot of energy in the 8th house, in the occult. There could be some mediumship experiences or connecting to your ancestors potentially this month as well. You might feel called to work with your ancestors in some way. I could potentially see that. And I was even getting that kind of thing with like home or housing insecurity. There's something with family that needs to be resolved. And I'm actually getting the message that some of you are being supported in spirit by your ancestors or family if you feel like you're going through a hard time. I know there is a lot of things happening in the world right now that feel very destabilizing, but you do have assistance on the side of spirit, and that is up to you to really reach out and connect in that way. So be open to connecting to spirits, to your ancestors. I really encourage you to do this. And especially around this new moon that we have in Pisces. Again, all of this is really lighting up your 8th house. This is going to be happening on the 2nd. The first week of March, honestly, is just like a lot right out the gate. I'm not going to lie. And you really could be feeling like you're trying to hold on to things, or maybe you're just letting go of everything. I actually get the message that some of you are so far into this journey at this point, it's like, well, I'm pretty much giving up the last bit that I have to go forward. This feels very few of you, but that is a message and energy I am picking up on. Interesting how I'm like holding my hair. I wonder if some of you are doing something with hair. Like, are you cutting your hair or growing your hair out? That might be something as well. There might be something symbolic about hair. And I know that sounds kind of weird or specific, but Leo, in my mind, actually does kind of rule over hair. I know it rules over the heart and the chest, but I also think of it as like the mane, the lion's mane. So that there could be something about like cutting your hair in a symbolic way. Please let me know in the comment section down below if that applies or resonates to you in some way. I'm just getting this like need to sacrifice something, need to give something up, and you're holding on to it, but spirit, your ancestors, your guides, whoever it is that you work with or connect with, they've kind of been encouraging you for some time, you need to let this go, and you've been afraid to do it. Some of you actually are going to offer something up, and I think some of you are still resisting that. So kind of keep that in mind too. What are you afraid to let go of? Spirit really wants you to do that this month. There really is a lot happening with the sun as well, connecting with Jupiter and Neptune. The sun is conjuncting Jupiter in Pisces on the 5th, and then it won't be until the 13th when sun is conjunct Neptune. These planets are actually going to be moving together in April. Jupiter and Neptune will be forming a conjunction, and they're getting closer and closer by the time we end March. Both of these planets really are about spirituality to me. This feels like a very spiritual reading. And it's kind of just felt like that for a lot of the signs. The past couple of months, there's been a lot of focus on spirit, and I think that's just a collective thing. There's a lot happening in the spirit world right now, as much as there is happening in the physical world. I feel like there is a lot for us to connect to there as well, especially if we are feeling like we need support. And with the conjunction between Jupiter and Pisces on the 5th, there actually could be some sort of windfall or something with inheritance potentially, some sort of intergenerational wealth or resources that are being passed through or distributed to you. And then the sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces on the 13th. This is kind of a period of time where your intuition could really be quite strong, or there's just this sudden hit or illumination or epiphany that you are having. Epiphany is actually a beautiful word for sun conjunct Neptune. There could be an epiphany for you, and you might be connecting with spirits, especially around this time. And it feels like things are very uncertain with the Page of Pentacles in reverse. I almost get the sense that some of you are doubting the path that you're on. Maybe you're like, shit, I think I chose the wrong career. Or I think I chose the wrong path in some way. Maybe I chose the wrong relationship. Maybe I chose the wrong place to live or go. With the Page of Pentacles in reverse, it kind of feels like the challenge this month really is about having to start over and not wanting to start over. Needing to go back to square one in some way, and maybe your ego is being tripped up by that. Like, you don't want to have to start over because you make that mean something about you. And again, just this overall feeling of not feeling certain about the future. Intuitively, you might be having a lot of senses or a pulling towards something, but it doesn't necessarily make sense. You don't know how you would do something like that. And again, I'm looking at these three central cards, these figures holding these pentacles. Let me just flip these two upright so you can see them a little bit better. We have the Two of Pentacles, which is balancing something. It's like trying to have your cake and eating it too. Maybe that's what you were doing in the past. And then the Four of Pentacles, holding on to something. This was actually in reverse, as was the Page of Pentacles. And again, I'm looking at this Page of Pentacles, really holding on, trying to assess the worth or value of something, studying something. And the energy for the future, you have the Death card in reverse with the Nine of Swords. And the message here is very clear. The longer you hold on to what is not meant for you, the worse you end up feeling, the more anxious it is, the more you are trying to delay something that is inevitable. The more stress and duress you are going to put yourself through. There really is something about relinquishing things and letting things go. I'm also getting the sense, again, with Death card and the Nine of Swords, this is very specific, but kind of paying attention to the astrology this month and just tapping into your energy. Some of you are actually overwhelmed by the spirits that are reaching out to you. Or you're feeling a lot of energies around you. I'm wondering too if there's like some of you are living in a haunted house or staying in a place that is haunted. There actually could potentially be some travel around the 20th when the sun enters into Aries, your 9th house of travel, of education. And this might be why you're also focusing on like, man, did I go down the wrong path? Do I need to change careers? I think some of you might be making some really big shifts, honestly. And it's like, don't let yourself sweep questions under the rug so you can just keep going with the status quo. Question everything in your life this month. And I know that's a heavy energy. I know that's easier said than done. But I feel like you're really combing through things this month. There is not a rock unturned. Or don't leave a rock unturned this month. Question everything. Really figure out what is in alignment for you and what you need to let go of. There are things you need to offer up to Spirit. I want to pull one more card. Actually, just noticing at the bottom of the deck here, the King of Wands in reverse. This is very, very interesting to me because the King of Wands actually is your card, specifically Leo. It can signify other fire signs, Aries or Sagittarius. I interpret this as the last decan of Cancer, so the last 10 days of Cancer, and the first 20 days of Leo, or we can use degrees instead of days. So if you have like an early to mid Leo placement especially, this applies to you. You're just out of alignment with yourself. It's almost like you're trying to break yourself into a mold that is not meant for you. You're meant to break a mold, not break yourself into a mold. So let's see. I actually think that was the card. Honestly, I don't feel like I need to pull another card from that deck. I am going to pull an animal card for you. What is the animal wisdom that we have? What is the animal wisdom that we have for Leo? Show us clearly, please. I knew this card was coming. It's the lion. This is your energy, and it's about the pride. It's about the family. It's about the community. It's not just about you. There really is quite a bit this month where you are learning to sit in your own energy and your own power and in your own heart. And sometimes that leaves you at odds with the people around you. And I also have the dragon card here. This is the solar plexus or Manipura chakra. And this represents our self-confidence or sense of self, which is really what Leo energy is all about. And looking down at the clock, I see 333, which really is trusting in your abilities to manifest and create, your natural abilities, body, mind, spirit, paying attention to trinities right now. And it's interesting that the solar plexus is the third chakra of the 7 chakra system. And you're really tapping into your inner fire. And I actually think you're going to be stepping into that as the sun enters into Aries. That's going to be happening on March 20th. That's the beginning of spring. And a lot of people call that the astrological new year. It is the spring equinox. And it's signifying a time of balance, of light and darkness. And I just feel the fire of these two. And it's very contained. This lion reminds me very much of the Strength card, which is very composed. Becoming a master of yourself. And I know when the lion card comes out, self-mastery is a big theme with this card. And that it's never too late to transform or to become a master of yourself. It's never too late to become what you were meant to be, is what I'm getting to. Or to embrace who you are. And if you are struggling with these, really work with your solar plexus chakra this month. Really work with this third chakra. I'm specifically feeling called to tell you to work with citrine, natural citrine specifically, and sunstone. These could be very powerful gemstones. If you work with gemstones, they could be very useful for you. Or even just having one as a totem, as a reminder to commit to yourself and to remember that inner fire, that Agni. And there's a lot of wisdom. There's like seeing something eye to eye, looking something in the eye. Don't be afraid to look whatever scares you in the eye. And be fearless. Very often, our greatest rewards lie in the places that we are most afraid to go or venture into. And I feel like you just need to go there this month. It's like You're trying so hard not to go there. You're trying so hard not to let go or surrender to something or admit something. And the longer you do that, the more painful it is for you. And when you do so, you step back into your energy, you step back into your power as this King of Wands. And yes, those are all the messages I have for you this month, Leo. I do hope that this was helpful and useful to you. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Again, all of my links are in the description box down below. If you'd like to check out the videos for your moon, rising, or Venus sign, you can do so on the playlist on my YouTube page. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Leo, and have a happy March.